A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Now during those days he went out to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples and chose 12 of them, whom he also named apostles: Simon, whom he named Peter, and his brother Andrew, and James, and John, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James, son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. He came down with them and stood on a level place, with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea, Jerusalem, and the coast of Tyre and Sidon. They had come to hear him and to be healed of their diseases, and those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all in the crowd were trying to touch him, for power came out from him and healed all of them. Jesus is making a big name for himself, and he is attracting people around him. It's interesting to note in that little snippet of the unfolding story that we just heard from Luke's Gospel, we see three groups of people. There are disciples, a large number of them. There are a crowd of people who are interested but who have not become disciples. And then there are 12 special friends that he calls by name in a particular way and labels apostles, which is simply the Greek word meaning somebody who goes where they are sent. Apostello, I send. So we see three related but different groups of people around Jesus. And hearing these verses laid out as this gospel reading for today raises for me a question that I need to ask myself, and perhaps you need to ask yourself, about where you are in this scene. Jesus offers healing, wholeness, and love to all. It's not restricted to those who are on the most inside track, as it were. But clearly, people have different relationships to Jesus. Today, in that passage, the naming of the 12 says something about the people on whom Jesus feels he can rely the most. And boy, they're not all that reliable. Judas is called, and we know because it's already singled out that he will become a traitor. One of the 12 really goes off the rails, and as we know, the other 11 don't do so well when the chips go down, but it does seem that they redeem themselves. So what this isn't about is some kind of innate virtue. Have you got what it takes? Because we all mess up at times. And in a sense, the inclusion of Judas from the outset is a very clear reminder of that. But as we look at the disciples, at the other crowd, at those he calls, singles out by name to be apostles, there is both something about discovering our appropriate vocation and working out, I suppose, how committed to Jesus we are. We see that he is committed to everyone in this scene. They all get the healing that they crave. Some of them give back, some of them maybe give back less, and they give back in different ways. As we hear these words, which are an important part of the outset of Jesus' ministry, these words remind us that God calls us, but we have to hear the call and act on it. Let's work out if we are hearing that call properly and acting on it and being the people on whom Jesus can rely. Amen.